Traveling Tales. I'm Mary Hayes and I'm a storyteller. I want to thank Yabs for sponsoring this storytelling project. And today we have part 5, the gift of the storyteller. Storytelling is a verbal art where stories are shared and told and retold from the oral tradition. Each time the story is told, it shifts and changes. We look at the storyteller, the story, and the audience, knowing that each element changes the story. Now, the stories that we tell are folk and fairy tales, personal and family stories. I like to tell historical stories, stories about my grandmother's immigration from Scotland, stories of my mom and dad who served during World War II, and stories of historical characters. And we also tell original tales. One of the original stories I tell is about my brother who was a truck driver. And so how do we go about this? Well, first of all, you have to find the story. I think traditional tales are a great place to look for a story to tell, for usually the themes are simple. Good wins over bad. The characters are often simple as well. We have good characters and bad characters. Let's think about the fox and the wolf. And then we have a generalized setting, a place called Once Upon a Time, where the character has to triumph over some sort of challenge or trouble. The stories often have a supernatural helper. Think about the elf, think about the brownie. Sometimes there's magic involved. And often the stories have beautiful word pictures. Sometimes they use a pattern of 3. 3 billy goats gruff, the 3 pigs, with a repeated refrain, I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down. So once you find the story, learn the shape of the story. That's what we talked about in part 4. The somebody wanted, but so. Somebody being the characters, wanted is their action, but is that complication or challenge, and so is the resolution. And then you have to tell the story. So let's have a story. Long, long ago, once upon a time, there was a king. He ruled his kingdom. And a wonderful thing happened, and that was the day that his wife had a child. And so he knew that someday that child would sit upon the throne. He called for all of the neighboring rulers to come and pay tribute to the child. Now you can imagine what kind of gifts they brought. They brought gold and silver coins. They brought fine foods and beautiful, sumptuous fabrics. They brought golden swords with jewels upon the hilt. And last of all, there stood a lowly person, not dressed in rags, but certainly not in royal garments. And the king said, well, you are empty-handed. What do you bring as a gift for the child? Ah, I am a storyteller, and I will bring stories each and every day for your child. I will tell the stories of our kingdom, of our history, stories that have been passed down from generation to generation. I will tell the stories of joy and the stories of tragedy. And so that is what came to pass. And so the child grew wise, for the child held the stories of the people to the heart. And when the day came that the old king passed on, and the child sat upon the throne, that child ruled with wisdom and the stories of the heart. And so that is what I wish for you, is that you would learn the stories. Find, learn, shape, and tell. Listen to the stories of your family. Tell those ones. And also tell the folk tales. Perhaps the elf and the shoemaker, the brownie of Fern Glen, the story of the fox and the horse. And just do it. Go out and tell some stories.